it early, but I don't think anybody's going to care if we get out early, right? I want to introduce myself. My name is Sean Underman. I was asked to help moderate this event tonight. We want to thank everybody for being here, and I'll just get through a couple more thank yous. We want to thank the Chamber for putting on our program tonight. We want to thank the city for providing the venue that we're in tonight, and everybody who's helped organize this event. We want to thank everybody here, all attendees, and all the candidates for scheduling time to be with us tonight. So, just a reminder to everybody, if you'll please silence your cell phones so there's no interruptions. One quick announcement, and I'll probably make it at the end too, but we have another event just like this one with the state candidates that's going to be on July 27th, pretty much the same format, same time, here again on July 27th. So we're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Mika Madrid, the president of the Chamber Board, is going to lead us in that. So there was a procedures form given to each of the candidates. I'm just going to review that real quick just so that everybody's kind of on the same page with that. And I'm just going to read it. So in an effort to support the environment of respect and timeliness, we have set forth several form procedures and guidelines which are listed below. First, please do not open either of the questions at your station until you're instructed to do so by myself. The process, so we're going to go through, each candidate's going to have an opening statement. You'll be given 2 minutes for an opening statement. And if you direct your attention here to the front row, David Benton is going to have some cards that he'll flash to you. Just kind of keep an eye on him. We don't want to go over time, out of everybody, respect for everybody's time tonight. And then there'll be a round one question. And I'll tell you at what point you can open that question and start to prepare for that. But then we'll go, after the opening statements, we'll come back, go down the table, start with Mark here, and you can read your question, and then you'll have 2 minutes to answer the question. After that, there's a second round of questions, and then a closing statements. So you have 2 minutes for the opening statement, 2 minutes for round one questions, 2 minutes for round two questions, and then a 3-minute closing statement. Respect for the timer's warnings is imperative. Timer is located in the front row. He will hold up a sign at the 1 minute mark, 15-second mark, and stop when time is up. You will immediately end your answer. Should a candidate's answer extend past the 2-minute time or call of time, the candidate will be penalized with their closing statements. Thank you for all your cooperation adhering to these guidelines. Just a reminder to the people in attendance here that there will be no questions taken from the floor during the forum. There is time afterwards, and we had time before for you to mingle with the candidates and one-on-one ask those questions. Okay, I think we're ready to start our opening statements. So we'll start again at this side of the table. I'll just work our way down.
Thank you, Sean. My name is Mark Anderson. I'm currently a county commissioner running for re-election for another 4 years. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm married to my wife Jocelyn, high school sweetheart. Been married for just shy of 20 years and have 5 kids in the school system, elementary, middle school, and high school, and then my oldest is off to college. So kind of have a wide spectrum there. Part of a family business, Superior Services, Superior Rental, and the Gun Room, which I started several years back, 15 years ago or so. So kind of an entrepreneur. I like new things. I like change. I like looking into the future and making things better. Some of the boards that I've been able to sit on in the past, that's given me some good experience is the Bridger Valley Joint Powers Water Board in Bridger Valley. It's very helpful to understand our water issues over there. Completely different scenario than what we have the luxury of in the city over here. Also, the Evanston Uinta Airport Board. There's a lot of fun, exciting things happening with our airport that directly can lead to some exciting things on the economic development front. So I've enjoyed that. The Uinta County Human Services Board. That's a great board to sit on to help that building up there that holds some of our county's most vital entities that help our citizens out. Probably the most beneficial and rewarding board that I've been able to participate in is the Evanston Youth Club Board. I have a passion for that, and it just has grown every time I go to a meeting. It's been fantastic. I feel like over the last 4 years I've been able to accomplish the things that I promised 4 years ago, and I'm seeking your vote here in a couple weeks. Thanks.
Good afternoon, I'm Joe B. Hickey. I live over at Lone Tree. It's about as far away as you can get in Uinta County from Evanston. But don't think that I forget you. I've had quite a few leadership positions in the last few years. I've been president of the Uinta County Predator Board, president of the Lyman Pioneer Days Rodeo, president of the Sage Creek Mountain Grazing Association, president of the Hoops Lake Water Association, and a couple others I can't remember off the top of my head. But I decided this spring I'd run for county commissioner. After I told my family, I went right in and told the county commission, and I got two things against me. I'm really not against what they've done, and I don't have an agenda. But I do want you to know that I care about the people of Uinta County, and you guys are really very important to me. My family has been here for a long time, and I have 3 kids, 14 grandchildren, all in Uinta County. And I don't travel much. I've never been east of Cheyenne or west of Elko, but I've been about everywhere you can go in Uinta County. And I'll spend that time working for you. Thanks a lot. I'd like your vote.
I'm Jesse Lind. This is my second chance at trying to run for Uinta County Commissioner. 2 years ago I tried my hand at running, but for those of you who don't know me, a little bit about myself. I graduated from Evanston High School back in 2001. I was number 2 in my class. I played basketball and golf all through high school. An all-state all-conference athlete. I then took the Presidential Academic Scholarship at Westminster College, which is down in Salt Lake City. I spent 4 years getting my finance degree at Westminster, and then after graduating from there, I made the move back here to Evanston and started my career in the oil and gas industry. I've traveled all over the state, covering mostly Wyoming as far as the oil and gas career goes. Also been to Colorado, Utah, Montana, several places all over. And then in 2014, I started my own business, kind of a contractor in the oil and gas industry. I continue to run that business today, and traveling all over the state, employing people in Casper. I have a shop in Casper, and I also work out here in Evanston. The reason I'm running for county commissioner is I think there's a lot of things going on in the county. From the TerraPower project that's just north of our county, that's going to have a huge effect on us. Our 1,000-acre project that should be gaining some traction, hopefully, that still has not proven to be anything developing. Road to the future, road to nowhere, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully we can develop that project. Also with my degree in finance, I think I would be a good fit for the county commissioner position. We job of that is to work with budgets, work with your county head, your different heads of each department, and work on budgets. Can't forget my family though, husband, wife. I have 4 kids, and very proud of all of them. So, thank you.
Before you go, Doug, that's the end of the candidates for county commissioners. So the county commissioner candidates can open their round one question. There's another candidate that was not able to make it tonight for county commissioner, but I just want to read a quick statement from Eric South. Commissioner South is sorry he's unable to attend the forum tonight. As a standing county commissioner, he is obligated to attend the last-minute joint powers board meeting for the Pritchard Valley Water Treatment Plant budget hearing. He thinks you can understand it.
My name is Jeff Matthews. I'm the current Urbana County Sheriff. And I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight to educate yourself on the candidates and the issues that affect all of us. This, to me, is the ultimate, review. As citizens, you dictate who is your sheriff and what he's doing. I can tell you that Urbana County is deeply important to me. My family's been here since the early 1900s. My kids live here. Most of my grandkids are here, and so I care deeply about it. Also, I have, as sheriff, I have authority over every single inch of this county, and every single inch of this county is important to me. I think it's important that we, work together. I do my very best to work with other agencies. We have several projects going on. We always are meeting with the Substance Abuse Juvenile Service Board. We have a monthly meeting that is all law enforcement, where all the chiefs and county attorney and myself meet with Highway Patrol just to discuss things that are going on in the county so that we can provide the very best service for them. It's really expensive running the sheriff's office, and every taxpayer dollar is super important to me. If we can find grants, if we can find other ways to make some money to offset some of those costs, we did a lot of that in the last couple of years, last 4 or 5 years really, and we've been able to do those things that are really important in running a jail and the sheriff's office. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Andy Kopp. Thank you to the Chamber for hosting the event and everyone for coming out. I've been in law enforcement for 16 years. All but 4 of those months are here in Urbana County. I spent 4 months in the detention center up in Sheridan County before the retired Sergeant Welling offered me a position down here. I hold a reserve detention officer certificate through the state of Wyoming. I also hold a professional peace officer certificate. I'm currently a patrol sergeant for the sheriff's office. I have a degree from the University of Wyoming. I'm a proud graduate of their criminal justice program. I have over 3,000 post-training hours. I've worked in almost all aspects of the sheriff's office. Patrol, detentions, investigations, court security, DARE officer, Camp Postcard, where we take kids up to Casper for a week and teach them leadership skills. I've worked for 2 different sheriffs and I respect them both. I know what works and what doesn't. And I think I can make the changes to the agency where we reestablish and retain the public trust. We reestablish working relationships with the other agencies within the county. Increase recruiting, training, and job satisfaction, and improve the retention of the staff. Host and attend interagency tactical trainings. This is important in our ruralness. We need to train with the other agencies. If there's a critical incident, we have to rely on each other. I also am available afterwards if anyone has questions or concerns. And I appreciate the time. Thank you.
The candidates for sheriff can open their round of questions now.
I
guess we're supposed to stand up. There's probably not a lot of difference whether I'm sitting or standing, but at any rate, thank you for being here. I appreciate those that have put this on. My name is Kent Williams, and I've served for the last 7.5 years as the mayor of this community. That's not a responsibility I take lightly. I look at that pretty seriously. I'm a firm believer that this community belongs to each one of us, and each one of us need to take an active role in the direction that we go. That wasn't an idea that I had that I set out as a youth or bucket list item or a resume builder for me to seek the office of mayor. It was a desire to be involved in the community that I have grown to love. I've not lived here all of my life, although I've lived here most of my life, for the greatest percentage of it. My wife, of course, was born and raised here. I've got, Sadie and I have been married for 34 years. We've got 4 children. We've got 6 grandchildren, who are all perfect, by the way, but they have had I guess I have had the chance to see them, my children, grow and develop families of their own, lives of their own, and they've been able to stay close, and that means a great deal to me. And I assume that that's something that across the community that we would all like. In the last 8 years, or 7.5 years, we've taken measures to reduce some city government sizes and reduce some spending, make sure that we live within a budget, within our means. I take that serious as well, simply because those resources that are expended are all of ours. They're yours, they're mine, and it needs to be taken seriously. I appreciate my family that, for whatever reason, has continued to support me for the last few years and moving forward. I appreciate the involvement from the community. I appreciate hearing from you, your ideas, your thoughts, even your criticism. I welcome that. And I appreciate you, Mayor. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Tim Lynch, and I'm running for mayor. And the reason behind it is I've spent the last 13.5 years learning the process of the city, and I feel I'm ready to take it on at a full capacity. I'm at a point in my life where I can devote the time to help better Evanston. I've been around here since 1978. I've been with my lovely wife Marie for the last 40 years. I ran the whirlwind back during the first boom here, and that's when it was Walmart sales tax for the area. After that, I retained working at the radio station, where I got involved with the Chamber of Commerce, and I served as their chairperson a couple terms, and was a part of the original chili cook-off, which we had a lot of fun over the years, and made a lot of money that we donated back into this wonderful community. And just have the goal to make Evanston a better place to live. I have the time to do it, so I ask for your vote for the next mayor of Evanston. Thank you.
Real quick, Mr. Mayor came up with their relevant questions.
My name is James Johnson. I go by Jim to my friends. Running for Bear River Town Council. I'm new here. Just moved here a year ago. Fell in love with the area. Want to do whatever I can to support this area. I love the people. Never dreamed it would be this nice. My lovely wife Linda, we've been married 36 years. I have 2 daughters and a granddaughter. I'm a production manager at a small company that only have 40 people that work for us. And I had the opportunity to come work here remote. Out of the 40 people that work for us, 26 are under me currently. We're at a 30% growth this year, record growth we've never had before. Make sure my boss knew we're good friends, and I'm not going to let him down by me working remote here. So I'm in a point in my life where I'm like, I want to support my community. I want to see what I can do to help make it better. This is my first time to run. I'm not a professional. This is not what I do for a living, but I love the community. I love the people. I'm just a conservative Republican, and I want to keep that going and just loving community. Okay, thank you.
My name is Todd Jones. I'm running for re-election for Bear River Town Council. So I guess for those of you that may not know me, I have the Allstate Insurance Agency here in town. You know, I worked in oil field, I worked in all kinds of different fields before that. And so it gave me a lot of insight on what makes an area tick. And so I wanted to get involved, and I wanted to get involved big, and and I was like, well, might as well go for where I live and help the community where I live. So when I decided to get involved, I didn't just get my toe wet. I dived in head first. It's been an adventure, let me tell you. I don't know if I need a life preserver or not, maybe. But so first thing I did, I got involved with the Chamber of Commerce, and so now I'm Vice President of the Chamber of Commerce in the committee. And then I got involved with the Economic Development Committee or Coalition, I don't know what it is, but the Economic Committee for the Uintah County. And I really enjoy that because that's really something that I feel we can really, make not just Bear River, but all of Uintah County a better deal. And luckily for me, I was selected by Mayor Stokes to be able to be on that committee, and I really enjoy that. And then on top of that, during this term, we started a little project with Mark DeSoro and Tom Griffith and several others, and some of them that are here, called the Southwest Off-Road Trails, or SWAT. You may have heard of that. We're working on that project bid to try to bring more commerce to the area. And so my motto is when you stop growing, you start dying, and that's what I'm trying to make sure that happens. Thank you.
I'm Nicholas White, conservative run for Town of Bear River Council and Precinct Committee, District 2, Precinct 2. My wife and I moved here to Wyoming about 16 years ago. We've been out there for about 12. We raised 2 kids there. I've worked in both the oil industry and out in the coal mine, chemical mine. 2017, I went back to school and earned my associate's degree in applied sciences. I'm a U.S. Army vet, small business owner. The reason I'm running is I like to help out. I've talked at council meetings of various sorts and figured that wasn't enough. I need to do a little bit more. That's why I'm here today.
Thank you, candidates. So we're ready to start our round 1 questions, and I'll read the question for each office before they answer. So beginning with the county commissioner, the first question is, if elected, how do you plan to use ARPA, or the American Rescue Plan Act funds, to better your community?
It's a great question. I want to clarify one thing about it. It says, if elected, how do you plan to use the ARPA funds? I don't plan to use the ARPA funds. I plan to represent everybody's thoughts on how we're going to use the ARPA funds. As a commissioner, a mayor, sometimes there's this perception that you're the boss of the city or the boss of the county, and you get to make all the decisions. And I guess to some degree, somebody could do that. But we're a representative, and when these ARPA funds came about, we brought a whole bunch of people in, invited people to come in with ideas. The money that Uintah County is going to be allocated, it was pretty easy to get a list of about 3 to 4 times that amount of projects or things that need done. Some of the things that are important to me that we're kind of eyeing, or that I would like to see maybe move forward. Fairgrounds improvement, we know that those bleachers need replaced, and we've been kind of planning how to do that. The underground parking lot, that project that needs replaced has been kicked down the road for a better part of a decade now. And so that's another project there. Library infrastructure and technology, that's another thing that we've wanted to do. Another thing that we got 2 emails this last week with more state ARPA money that through grant processes that is in addition. One is outdoor rec. I would like to work with Unit Shooting Sports that's working on the range out by the landfill, see if we can get that project done, as well as possibly the SWAT. So, you know, as a representative, I forwarded those grant things to them, and hopefully we can work with them on getting some of those projects done that will kind of better Union County. Thanks.
Since this spring, I've been to about every county commissioner meeting because I didn't want to be fishing in the dark if I got elected. I want to be able to know what's going on. There's some things I'm concerned about, and I don't know if these funds are exactly earmarked for that, but one thing's the wages in the sheriff's department. I think that we're going to lose our competitiveness if we don't pay attention to that. Also, there's some social things that we need to pay more attention to. Wyoming's the #1 suicide state in the Union. United County's #1 in Wyoming. Not all things are good in paradise. So we have to look, because we might not know the needs of others. Since I've been running for commissioner, I just can't believe how many people have brought up something that wouldn't have cost anything that would have really helped a crew pack. These projects that we've got going, they're important. And they help people out. It brings prosperity to our community, just like this building. So these are great things. And we can look at those things, but people first. I probably have some more time, but I've said enough. Thanks.
As far as the ARPA funds go, I'm first and foremost not a huge fan of the huge amount of government federal spending that has been going on, because I think that has caused a lot of the problems that we have in the first place. But ARPA funds are out there. If you're going to get them, you got to spend them on something. The infrastructure that needs to be fixed in this county is huge. That would be #1. We got stuff that's falling apart, stuff that's need improvements. Mark hit on it. Fairgrounds are one, the underground parking. There's plenty of things in the county that either need improved or just has never gotten to. So infrastructure would be #1. #2 would be economic development. We need to put some things in place that would help the economic development in the entire county. I'm not sure specifics to that, but whether it be promoting or enabling small business or private sector businesses to grow, thrive, or even move or develop here. I sit on the Economic Development Board. We have 1,000 acres that needs to be developed. ARPA funds, I would love to use some of those ARPA funds to try and steer that project in the right direction for economic development. Along with the ARPA funds, they are federal funds, so you're going to be restricted, and there are going to be certain guidelines on how you can spend that money. I'm not extremely familiar with those guidelines, but infrastructure and economic development would be the two major things that I'd like to direct that toward.
All right, for the candidates for sheriff, the question #1 is, if elected, when making decisions for the sheriff department's future, what are your priorities?
The main priority that I have, and we're working on it now, is the defund the police that happened a couple years ago, and we're still filling it. Almost overnight, it became really hard to hire people or even get people that are even interested in doing law enforcement work. And so that is all incoming. We have to be smarter the way we do things, and constitutionally, smarter constitutional policing is very important. We have to figure out a way that we can hire new people and get new people involved in this. One of the things that I've been working on with the high school here in Evanston, we plan to go to Bridger Valley too, is a sheriff's academy where we take high school seniors, and we've done this over the years, but not a formal program. where we actually have them come and do an internship and learn about the trade and all the disciplines. The other part is really important to me is looking at policing. We need to look up more at being a guardian of our community rather than the warrior of our community. And there's times that we have to be warriors, but I think we have to look at the guardian, being guardians of our community. And every deputy has access to online training that's called Path of the Guardian. It just keeps them up, weekly updates, 10 minutes. It keeps them up on what's constitutional, what's happening in the Supreme Court. We also have a program in the jail that keeps them up on Wyoming guidelines for the jail. So all of those things are very important that we have to find ways to go forward. Mental health is another problem that we need to work on. Thank you.
So, my top priority, as I said in my opening, we need to regain the public trust. This isn't something I just made up overnight to throw out there. This is what I've learned as I've been out and talking to people, visiting with business owners, and campaigning. We need to get the public trust. If we don't have it, we're not going to deter crime. You can't deter crime without the public trust. They need to be able and willing to call you. So we need to gain that back. Secondly, we need to do something with dispatch. They got new equipment. I understand that. It's on the men getting up and working, hopefully 100% soon. But we need to take care of the personnel in dispatch. Without dispatchers, the public doesn't have anywhere to call for help, and we don't have anywhere to call when we need help when we're patrolling. Dispatch has to be a priority. With that, I plan on working on the inside out, starting with dispatch. Maybe looking at a joint powers board for dispatch. The other agencies pay in to dispatch for the sheriff's office. Why shouldn't they have a say on what goes on in dispatch? Maybe that's the way we get them the pay raise they need, is a joint powers board. I don't know. We've got to look at all these options. Those are my two top priorities.
So the candidates for sheriff are looking around 2 questions now. The question for the candidates for mayor, the first question is, if elected, how do you plan to use the ARPA, or Rescue Plan Act funds, to better the city of Evanston?
Thank you. I'm glad that question was how do you plan to use the ARPA funds and not how do you feel about the ARPA funds, because they're two very different things. The mayor of Evanston is only one vote, one member of the city council. I think that was mentioned a little bit. Commissioner Anderson mentioned that anything that's done with these funds will be a voted on project. I think the thing that we also need to make sure that we take into consideration is these funds are not something that we should use to extend the obligation of the city as it relates to an ongoing expense that the city might incur, or salaries or employees. That's a problematic or difficult thing to do, because if you use those funds for those types of things, it is questionable whether or not those funds or funds will continue to meet those obligations moving forward. And so ultimately, these funds that we have from the government, from the federal government, are concerning, and so we need to be very careful how we use them. I think there's opportunities to collaborate with perhaps the county, other communities, to extend that money to the best use for our community in a variety of ways. That's probably infrastructure, and I think there's a lot of opportunities for a partnership between the city, county. What happens in Mountain View and what happens in Lyman truly affects Evanston, and it has a positive influence and impact on Evanston. So these are funds that we need to be very careful how we use and voted on by city council or county commission, and those funds will undoubtedly be used for infrastructure type projects that will have the opportunity to benefit the entire community. I think that's important to maintain that use for those funds.
indicate.
If elected, I think I'd get with my department heads. I've been a part of the election and selection of our department heads throughout the city since 2008. I think we have a great team. 3 years ago, I had a phone call in my real estate business from a gentleman wanting to relocate his business in Evanston. And I talked to him for about 45 minutes, and I came to the conclusion I got to turn him on to Rocco O'Neill and his team. And today, Avalon is coming. I'm proud to say I was part of that. I met Rick Carlton over the phone and turned him on to a winning team to bring him here. I will work with the team, county, city, state, whatever it takes, on how we do use the ARPA funds. That's all I got.
So the candidates for mayor can now open your round 2 questions. I want to read the question from the candidates for the town of Bear River. Number 1 is, if elected, how do you plan to use the ARPA funds to better the town of Bear River?
We had a meeting here last month with some folks that came up with the emergency services, and they were talking about how expensive they are. And the one thing we need, we're a bit out of town. We're a bit outside of the normal range of getting help. And it'd be nice if we could somehow use the money to help fund that to just make sure we have services. I'm new to that community. I wouldn't have all the answers. I'm a problem solver with my team, yes. So my goal would be to work with my other town council members and work on problems with them. It's not all about me, it's about the community. And that's my goal, is to make sure we're all building the one subject that we want to work on. Okay?
Okay, so I'm kind of like some of the other ones on here. I don't know how I really feel about the ARPA funds. But the last time I sat up here on this table and I said I was running for a chair, I said that my main goal was to get the speed limit reduced through Bear River. And the reason for that is my house actually sits right where I can see the highway. And I'm right on the corner. And, well, I'm not on the corner, but I can see the corner. And there's a corner up there that happens to be very dangerous. The people come in, they're coming way too fast during the winter. It's like through the corner, they're taking out the fence. And unfortunately, not too long ago, we had somebody that was killed there. Well, that same corner is where our kids have to stand to wait for a school bus. That is sick and wrong. And we got to fix it. And so I plan on fighting with ARPA funds to work with the highway department to get that speed limit reduced. You'd think it'd be something as simple as just go out and unscrew a speed limit sign and put a new one on. It's not. It's not even close to that. You wouldn't believe what it takes. But one of the things we have to do apparently is we have to make Bear River look more like a town. We have to make it look more like Bear River is a town. So we have worked to put a plan together that we're going to put in improvements along the highway, some sidewalks, some lighting, some different things like that, to give it the appearance that you are now coming into a town. We're doing this to get the speed limit reduced, to protect the safety of our youth. And it's something that's really important to me, and I want to continue that project and keep fighting for that. And then I will also work with, some of the other groups, economic development and different things, to make sure that the county is also utilizing these funds in ways that are going to help benefit Bear River and the people of Uintah County. Thank you.
We had use some ARPA funds out there in Bear River, and a copy off of what 2 colleagues mentioned. Emergency services out there, we really don't have any. About 2 years ago, my daughter-in-law got in an accident, and we had to order up into a car and haul into town. It's quicker for us to do that than to wait for an ambulance or possibly life flight to get out. Speed limits, of course, they're pretty ridiculous out there. Anybody that drives that stretch of highway, it's a free-for-all in the summer. You've got trucks and trailers hauling up and down there 80 miles an hour. They don't care. One thing we've also got there in Bear River is our roads going into the neighborhoods. We've got tons of new people, and they've brought kids with them. I love seeing them out there. I've seen them out there with BB guns shooting all sorts of stuff. Thank you, also may barrel down a road 30, 40 miles an hour. We got too many people out there, especially riding horses. Like to see some of those funds get put into maybe gas lines out there. We don't have any gas lines there, maybe we're running on propane. Another thing I'd like to see is the park system that's being proposed and being worked on. I know there's a lot to it. It'd be nice to see that get developed all the way and be able to maybe compensate some of the landowners so we can get those easements in between all the little parks. Yeah.
So candidates for the town of Bear River Council can open their round 2 questions. At this point, before we continue on with our round 2, we're just going to take a quick 5-minute break. Everybody get a drink, restroom if you need to, and we'll get going here in 5 minutes.